Nationalism in India. As I already said, what is nationalism and how it shaped India today, and how nationalism contributed to the freedom of India. Understood? You have already learned about how nationalism worked wonders for the achievement of freedom of our country. As you have seen, modern nationalism in Europe came to be associated with the formation of nation states. It also meant a change in people's understanding of who they were and what defined their identity and sense of belonging. New symbols and icons, new songs and ideas forged new links and redefined the boundaries of communities. In most countries, the making of this new national identity was a long process. How did this consciousness emerge in India? As you have already read the chapter on nationalism in India, understood? You have understood how one community came closer to another, how people got together, how they achieved what they wanted. But here in India, the story is somewhat different. In India, and as in many other colonies, India was a colony. Understood? The growth of modern nationalism is intimately connected to the anti-colonial movement. Understood? In India and as in many other colonies, the growth of modern nationalism is intimately connected to the anti-colonial movement. It is connected to the anti-colonial movement. Understood? You know why we changed and why we became one. It is the British that united us. If you think that we united ourselves, no. We Indians under British rule, what? United. So maybe India was ruled by British for 200 years. During British rule, India was one. But after independence, many princely states did not want to become a part of India. But it was our first, what minister? Defense minister or home minister? Vallabhbhai Patel.
Defense.
He told the princely states to be a part of the Union of India. That for fear, they became a part of India. That was how India became united. But though we were living in India, many states were there. There were as many as 500 princely states. Understood? They became one. They became united only because of the foreign ruler called British. Understood? And now we have become one country. We are very powerful. We have more or less succeeded in uniting ourselves, isn't it? So, in India and as in many other colonies, the growth of modern nationalism is intimately connected to the anti-colonial movement. You know, as there was a anti-colonial movement, naturally modern Indian nationalism came because of that only. People began discovering their unity in the process of their struggle with colonialism. The sense of being oppressed under colonialism provided a shared bond that tied many different groups together. But each class and group felt the effects of colonialism differently. Their experiences were varied. Their notions of freedom were not always the same. The Congress under Mahatma Gandhi tried to forge these groups together within one movement. But the unity did not emerge from the country. Understood? Or you can say from without the country. In an earlier textbook, you have read about the growth of nationalism in India up to the first decade of 20th century. In this chapter, we will pick up the story from the 1920s, like I said. and study the non-cooperation and civil disobedience movement. We will explore how the Congress sought to develop the national movement, how different social groups participated in the modern participated in the movement, and how nationalism captured the imagination of people. The First World War, Khilafat and non-cooperation. In the years of 1919, understood? Or you can say in the years after 1919, we see the national movement spreading to new areas, incorporating new social groups and developing new modes of struggle. How do we understand this development? What implications did they have? First of all, the war created a new economic and political situation. It led to a huge increase in defense expenditure, which was financed by warlords, increasing taxes, customs, duties were raised, and income tax introduced. Through the war years, prices increased, doubling between 1913 and 1918, leading to extreme hardship for the common people. The villages were called upon to supply soldiers, and the forced recruitment in rural areas caused widespread anger. Then in 1918 and 1919 and 1920 and 1921, the crops failed in many parts of India, resulting in acute shortages of food. This was accompanied by an influenza epidemic. According to the census of 1921, 1912, according to the census of 1921, 12 to 13 million people perished as a result of famines and the epidemic. The people hoped that their hardships would end after the war was over, but that did not happen. Now, my question is, how many people died? Understood? According to the census of 1921, how many people? 12 to 13 million people. 12 to 13 million people died because of, as a result of famines and the epidemic. Understood? When did, crops fail? Crops fail, resulting in acute shortages of food. When did it fail? Crops failed in 1918 and 1919. Understood? And 1920 and 1921. Understood? Why did it fail? And what happened due to failure of the crops? What happened? There was acute shortages of food in India. As a result, 12 to 13 million people died. Understood? Now, people hoped that their hardship would end after the war was over. As the war broke out, when did the First World War take place? When did the First World War take place? Why don't you keep your phone and see?
First World War.
Yes. When did the First World War take place? It is because of the First World War, many people were recruited from Indian villages and were taken to participate in the First World War, to fight for the British. Understood? Many Indians were recruited from the rural areas of India and were taken outside the country to be used in the wars
1914 to 1911.
1914.
14.
It started in 1914 and continued
1911.
1911.
Hmm.
What? When did the First World War start?
1914. 28 July 1914.
It started
Huh.
and it continued
1911.
1911. How can it go? Decrease. When did the First World War end? Let's see. When did it come to an end? When did the First World War come to an end?
11 November
11 November 1918.
1918.
11 November 1918.
Huh.
You are saying 1918, you are not saying 11 November, 11 November, 11 November. What picture do you get out of it? If it started in 1914, it must continue for 2, 3, 4 years.
At 5 a.m.
Understood? So, the day on which it came to an end was 11 November 1918. So, you know, when 1918, who was fighting the First World War? The British against their enemies? Understood? What will, as India was under British rule, what will they do? Will not they recruit the Indians? Will not they take the Indians from India to fight for them in the First World War? So many people were taken from the country. Why? To make them fight for the British. Because the country, India, was under British rule. Did you understand? Now understood. And if the Indians were recruited or taken, understood, from India, from rural areas of India, and if they were made to fight for the British in the First World War, will not they take the food? Will not they take the food from the granaries of India?
Take.
They will take the food also, the food that was for Indians. The Indian farmers cultivated their lands, they had good crops, but the food was taken for those who were fighting for the British in the First World War. Can the soldiers fight without food in their stomach? Can they fight? How can you fight? How long can you fight if you are not given food? So the food of the Indian were taken to be used as the food of the soldiers. Naturally, who will suffer the food shortages? The Indians that stay back in India, the Indians who are in India. This is the reason many farmers, many people, you know, Bengal famine. Understood? Many people in Bengal died. In many parts of India, many people died because the British took their food. Understood? To be used for the soldiers. This is why many soldiers lost their life. This is why I told you to see when the First World War took place. The India under British rule, understood, took its people means Indians, to fight for them in the First World War. Is that clear? Now people hope that their hardship would end after the war. Which war? The First World War. People thought that their hardship, their bad days will come to an end after the war was over. But that did not happen. Why? Because after First World War, Second World War also started. Do you understand? So how can the agonies, the bad days of India would stop? Indians, if the ruler's bad days, if the ruler is fighting, the Indians, what? Bad time cannot come to an end. Do you understand? Because India was under foreign rule, and the foreign rule was busy at war with other countries. You get it? So Indians were also at war. If the ruler ruling the country is at war, it means Indians under it was also at war. Now the idea of Satyagraha. You have heard that what is Satyagraha? That is Agraha in Satya. What is Satyagraha? It means the non-violent movement. The
Nonviolent.
movement that is that you put up with believing in truth. The truth is the weapon. When you are truthful, you will live a happy life. Why? Because you are not afraid of speaking the truth. The truth-filled people never, live a sad life. They live a happy life. You understand? So the idea of Satyagraha, Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in January 1915. When did Mahatma Gandhi return to India? When did Mahatma Gandhi return in India? In January 1915. When did Mahatma Gandhi return
In
to
January.
India? You know, I want to tell you about Mahatma Gandhi because it is very important for you to know. History can be remembered by you only if you listen to what I teach you and if you listen to the video also. Now listen, you know what happened? Mahatma Gandhi was born in 1869. Understood? Then Mahatma Gandhi went to India. He studied law in India. Understood? Clear? After studying law in England, he went to South Africa. He lived in South Africa. During his time in South Africa, he protested against injustice done to the African people. Understood? Then, he wrote a book, Hind Swaraj, during his journey from England to South Africa. Journey by ship. He wrote that book, Hind Swaraj. That is, in English, it is called Passive Resistance. That book was written by him. But when India needed him, Mahatma Gandhi came to India. Understood? When did he come? In January 1915. After he came to India, he also protested against injustice done to the African people in South Africa under British rule. South Africa was also under British rule. Like India was also under British rule, South Africa was also under British rule. So, what did Mahatma Gandhi do? He protested against the ill treatment being meted out to the South African. After he returned to India, he also participated in the Indian freedom movement because many people were fighting for independence of the country from the British rule. So he became a part of Indian National Congress. Indian National Congress was already formed in 1885. So he became a member of Indian National Congress and started contributing to the independence movement of India, and he still played an important role in the freedom movement of India. Now, so after he came to India, these are the concepts of what? Non-violent movement. According to Gandhiji, you cannot achieve independence through violence. If you harm the rulers, if you don't see the rulers as human beings, understood? Or if you don't try to mold your ruler, understood? Or if you don't try to make your ruler understand the injustice or understand, what the ruler is doing is not just, understood? Then the ruler will not do anything for you. But the mode of protest, the form of protest will not be violent. Why? Because violence spreads violence. History is evident. History is a proof that even the histories prove that you cannot kill violence with violence. If you want to kill violence, you can kill it through non-violence. So, Mahatma Gandhi's weapon for independence was his non-violence, passive resistance. He said, we can convince the rulers, understood, through the sacrifice of your self-interest, and we can convince the rulers. We can put up pressure on the rulers. That is how we can achieve independence. But we cannot get independence by harming the rulers. You get it? Now, the idea of Satyagraha. Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in January 1915. As you know, he had come from South Africa where he had successfully fought against the racial regime, fought the racist regime with a novel method of mass agitation, which he called Satyagraha. The idea of Satyagraha emphasized the power of truth and the need to search for it. It suggested that if the cause was true, if the struggle was against injustice, then physical force was not necessary to fight the oppressor. Without seeking vengeance or being aggressive, a Satyagrahi could win the battle through non-violence. This could be done by appealing to the conscience of the oppressor. People, including the oppressor, had to be persuaded to see the truth. Instead of being forced to accept the truth through the use of violence, by this struggle, truth was bound to ultimately triumph. Mahatma Gandhi believed that the dharma of non-violence could unite all Indians. Understood? If you are true Indians, if you believe in truth, if you are not afraid of speaking the truth, if you tell the rulers, this is not what? This is not truth. This is what is truth? Truth is a power. Truth is truth power. Your ability to speak the truth. And your ability to speak the truth can mold what? The hearts, the cruel hearts of the rulers into a golden heart, in which there will be possibility of what? Keeping or feeling it with love. After all, your ruler is also a human being. So he can be molded into who he is not. He can be molded into who he is not. Understood? So your ruler, oppressor is a human being. He can change what? His position. He can change who he is under influence of your movement called Satyagraha movement. By your ability to speak the truth, by saying what is right and what is wrong. If you say, ruler, what you are doing is not just, is not acceptable, the ruler will think before doing harm to you. So this was the biggest weapon used by Mahatma Gandhi, the dharma of non-violence. And this dharma of non-violence that was preached by Mahatma Gandhi united all Indians. Understood? Because most of the Indians believed Mahatma Gandhi. So we have seen that when Mahatma Gandhi died, entire India cried. Understood? So he succeeded in presenting himself as father of India. Understood? After arriving in India, Mahatma Gandhi successfully organized Satyagraha movement in various places. In 1917, he travelled to Champaran in Bihar to inspire the peasants to struggle against the oppressive plantation system. So, I have a question. After arriving in India, Mahatma Gandhi organized. What did Mahatma Gandhi organize? Which movement did Mahatma Gandhi organize successfully? After arriving in India, which movements did Mahatma Gandhi organize successfully? Satyagraha movements. Andolan you can say, no problem. After arriving in India, Mahatma Gandhi successfully organized Satyagraha movements. in various places of India. In various places of
India.
India. Because his movement was not limited to India. He walked India at that time. He walked India of that time. Understood? It means when I am saying he walked India of that time means he went to each and every part of India. Wherever there was a problem, he went there. Okay. In 1917, he travelled to Champaran to inspire the peasants to struggle against the oppressive plantation system. When did Mahatma Gandhi travel? Why and when did Mahatma Gandhi travel to Champaran in Bihar? Why did Mahatma Gandhi travel to Champaran in Bihar? When and why? Try to understand my question. When and why did Mahatma Gandhi travel to Champaran? When and why did Mahatma Gandhi travel to Champaran in Bihar? Champaran is in Bihar. When and why did Mahatma Gandhi travel to Champaran in Bihar? Is it history you are seeing in your phone? Or you are chatting?
No.
Is it? So why can't you answer my question?
Champaran में क्या दिया था?
When and why did he go? When and why did he go to Champaran in Bihar?
Justice for ये
The answer to when is he in 1970. In 1970, he travelled, and why? In 1917 is the answer to when. 1917 is the answer to when, and answer to why is he travelled to Champaran in Bihar to inspire. You know what is inspire? To inspire the peasants. Peasants means farmers. Understood? To struggle against the oppressive plantation system. To inspire, to give impetus to their movement, to inspire them, to mold them, to say that what you are doing is good. Understood? What you are doing is good. To say that what they were doing was good. They should protest against the ill treatment. Understood? Being meted out to them. So when did he go to Champaran in Bihar? Why and when did he go to Champaran in Bihar? Answer to when is in 1917. Why? He went to Champaran in Bihar to inspire the peasants to struggle against the oppressive plantation system. To struggle against the oppressive plantation system. Oppressive means coercive.
oppressive plantation system.
Oppressive plantation system. What is oppressive plantation system? Do you know? Actually the peasants or farmers in Bihar were being made to cultivate nil. What is nil? Indigo. Why do you forget, man? Even that day also I told you.
Indigo.
Understood? Why was indigo needed? It was used for the white clothes the people wore at that time. Even indigo is used today also. Those who wear, white clothes, shirts, pants, they use indigo just to give it a brighter look. Understood? Just to enhance the brightness of the shirts that they wear. Understood? To make it more bright with a blue added to it. Now, have you understood? And the people, the farmers in Bihar were being made to cultivate indigo for them. And they were not willing to cultivate. The farmers are being encouraged, pressurized by the British to cultivate indigo for them. But if the Kishans or the farmers or the peasants saw that if they cultivate indigo or nil, what happens do you know? The fertility of the soil gets lost. Understood? So once they cultivated indigo, next time they cannot cultivate the land again. Understood? So who wants to lose the fertility of the soil of their cultivable land? If they do it, can you do yourself harm knowingly? Unknowingly people can do. But you cannot harm yourself with knowledge. With the knowledge that your action is going to do you harm in the long run. If I know, if I do this, understood, I will get harmed in future. Should I do that action? The action that can harm me in future, will I perform that action? Never. That was what the indigo farmers were doing. Indigo farmers said, no, we cannot, however hard you may try to make us cultivate indigo for you, we are not going to do that. You cannot make us cultivate indigo. So, here what happened, so why and when did Mahatma Gandhi, go to Champaran in Bihar?
In 1917, Mahatma Gandhi go to Bihar to
Went to Bihar
went to Bihar to
in 1970. Okay.
Mahatma Gandhi
Went to Bihar.
Went
Okay,
to
fine.
Bihar.
Or traveled to Bihar.
To inspire
Good. To inspire the peasants to struggle against
the British.
the oppressive plantation system. Oppressive plantation
system.
system of the British, if you say, no problem. Oppressive plantation system.
British system.
Then in 1917, again reading, then in 1917, he organized a satyagraha to support the peasants of the Kheda district of Gujarat. Understood? Then in 1917, in the same year means in 1917. In 1917, understood? What is this? 2014? 2024. In this year, if there is a great man in India, does it mean in this year that great man will do only one thing? No. He may do many things in this year. So similarly, Mahatma Gandhi, after what? He had paid visit to Champaran in Bihar to protest against or to inspire the peasants to struggle against oppressive plantation system. In the same year, he went to another place. Where? Kheda. Kheda district in Gujarat. Where is Kheda district?
In Gujarat.
In Gujarat. Now he went to Gujarat in the same year. Why did he go to Kheda? Why did he go to Kheda in the same year or in 1917? Why did he go? Why did Mahatma Gandhi go to Kheda district in Gujarat after his visit to Champaran in Bihar? Why? Then in 1917, he organized a satyagraha. To organize the satyagraha. Satyagraha is a movement believing in truth. Understood? So, to organize a satyagraha, why? To support. To support means it's the same thing. To inspire the peasants. To here in Kheda district, he went to support. Supporting and inspiring, there is no difference, basic difference between supporting and inspiring. Understood? So, he organized a satyagraha in Kheda district of Gujarat to support the peasants of Kheda district of Gujarat. Then, when and why did he go to Kheda district of Gujarat? Why did Mahatma Gandhi go to Kheda district of Gujarat in 1917? Ma, can't you tell me?
Kheda district.
In the same year, that is 1917, Mahatma Gandhi went to Kheda district of Gujarat to support the peasants.
Support the presence.
To support the peasants. Because the peasants in Kheda district of Gujarat were also being oppressed or discriminated against. Understood? So, Mahatma, as he was father of the nation, as he was a great soul, he must not hesitate to go to protest against what was happening in the Kheda district of Gujarat at that time. Now, affected by crop failure and plague epidemic, the peasants of Kheda could not pay the revenue and were demanding that revenue collection be relaxed. Understood? What was the reason why the peasants of Kheda district were protesting?
To support the present.
It is, we have already come to know, this is 1917. When did the First World War take place? 1914. Understood? And it continued, it ended 1800 1918. Understood? So, the First World War still going on, and this was what was happening in India at that time. In India, these were the things that were happening. What happened? The crop failure happened. You know crop failure? The food was taken from India. Why? Just to feed the soldiers fighting for British government. Understood? For British in the First World War. And these soldiers were taken from all over Indian villages, from all over India. And these soldiers had to be fed to win the battle, to win. Understood? To come out winner in the First World War. And even the British, I think, won in the First World War. Now, what happened at that time? What happened at that time? The affected by crop failure. I am telling you. Did you see? Affected by crop failure and a plague epidemic. At that time, plague also
Epidemic.
It also happened like Corona Mahamari. We are lucky that we have understood what is an epidemic. Understood? Corona broke out in epidemic form or not? Because we saw thousands of people dying with our naked eyes. Like or not? Am I right or not? They died like cats and dogs, isn't it? People died like cats and dogs in the hospitals. And people even lost their nearest and dearest ones during this Corona Mahamari. Understood? Or pandemic. So, by that time, affected by crop failure and a plague epidemic, the peasants of Kheda could not pay the revenue and were demanding that the revenue collection could be relaxed. They wanted revenue collection could be relaxed. What is revenue collection? Do you know? Oh my God, what is revenue? Tax. Suppose if you have 100 bighas of land, you must cultivate something. You need to give tax to the government of India. I am talking about present. Okay, your everything will be taxed. If you go to buy urea, you are buying urea, understood, with taxes imposed on the urea. So you are giving tax to the government. If you are buying, understood, equipment that help you to cultivate the land, even you have to pay tax. Even if you sell the crops, if you sell the crops, you have to give the tax. Without giving tax, you cannot sell the crops. So whatever you are doing, you have to give tax with our knowledge or without our knowledge. Understood? Knowingly or unknowingly. So we get taxed always. So here what happened? They want to at that time what happened? We were not. They used to take direct tax, but nowadays Indian, how do the Indians give tax? We give tax. Understood? We buy the taxed goods items. For example, if you buy a mobile phone, is it tax free? No. There is GST imposed on it, 18%. Understood? Your mobile phone original cost of your mobile phone is 4,000 and GST is 2,000. It comes to 6,000. So what increases the price of your phone?
GST.
Tax. So what the farmers of that time of the district of Kheda, Gujarat, they wanted the tax. Those who went to collect tax from them, they had crops, and those who went to collect tax from them, they said, no, see, already plague broke out, thousands of people died, and there is crop failure. We did not have good crops, and the British took our crops from us. So I cannot give tax. We are not able to give the tax. Understood? So the British government was putting pressure on them, they were tortured. So when the news of the torture of the innocent farmers reached the ears of Mahatma, Mahatma could not stop. He ran to Kheda district of Gujarat when in 1917. Why? To support them. Do you get it? Their only problem was they were being taxed. Even though they had already experienced what?
Tax.
Crop failure and plague epidemic. Are you getting me? Am I teaching it properly? How much is the time?
45 minutes.
45 minutes. Okay, 50 minutes video. After that, you have already taught you Rowlatt Act, no, that day?
Yes.
And
It's also done.
okay, then that's all today. In our next lecture, or when I read the book again tomorrow, remaining portion of the video will be available to you, isn't it? Okay, that's all today. If you have liked my video, you share it with those who you want to benefit from what you have learned inside the class today. Thank you. Fine. Have a nice day.